Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. Today we're talking about tow hooks. So the WRX does see time at the track, and a lot of the associations or groups that we run with out here in Northern California require that you run a tow hook. And thus far I've been running the factory tow hook in the front and the rear. So I've got one from another Subaru that we have over here. And one of the things that I kind of don't like about the factory tow hooks is just how much further past the bumper they stick out. So we're looking at maybe 2.5 inches. And if I were to ever kiss anything with the car, because it's the farthest point out, the tow hook will take the brunt of the damage, and because it's bolted into the crash bar, we could see some significant damage to the car, where in situations we might be able to get away with like a slight tap against the wall, right? So just having this stick out has kind of been bothering me, and I've been thinking about trying to create my own tow hook or tow strap. So I was Googling around and actually discovered that Raceseng just developed a new tow strap. Literally just came out maybe like a week ago, and decided to order a pair for the car, and I really like them. The biggest thing for me is this bolt that they've created sits deep inside the crash bar, so it doesn't stick out, and the only thing that you see is the strap, right? So this bolt's going to go deep into the crash bar, and if I were to kiss the wall, the bumper would take the brunt of it, and if I made a bigger hit, the crash bar would take the hit before this bolt does. So it's splitting hairs, but I think there's a slim chance it could happen, and to me, if there's something I can do to avoid that, willing to spend a little extra money to do it. The tow strap itself is just like any strap that you could buy off the shelf. Really, it comes down to this bolt. There are straps out there for like 20 bucks, but it does have a rather large bracket that you have to mount on, that you have to find how to figure out how to mount that onto the car, and it just won't go into the factory tail point. What'll end up happening is that it will stick out slightly past the bumper. So I'm a big fan of these. The only problem with these straps for the WRX is they don't fit the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the solution I've come up with for the rear of the car, and maybe it'll help you guys out, maybe it won't. I guess we'll find out. Just a little bit of a warning, if you don't like watching someone tear up a bumper or drill into their car, you may not want to continue watching. Okay, so this is the rear tow hook mounting point on the WRX, and the reason why the Raceseng tug strap won't fit is because the threaded portion of for the bolt is quite deep into the crash bar, and then there's this plate here that's sitting on the crash bar, and I've drilled out a little bit of it, but the inner diameter of this hole is about 22 millimeters, and the Raceseng bolt requires about 34 millimeters to be able to reach all the way in. If you factor in the size of the strap, it's a little bit bigger, more like 38 millimeters. So the plan here is to drill out this plate and widen it so that the bolt can fit all the way in. The other thing that you may notice is that I have drilled out some of the bumper. This bumper's a mess anyway, so I'm not really too concerned about it. And the reason why I've drilled it out is that the factory bolt actually doesn't come straight out the center. It comes out at an angle, and it's slightly off center. It's slightly off center compared to the little cutout. So if you were to try to bolt the strap in, it's going to interfere with the bumper, and so just to make it easy on myself, I actually removed some of the bumper. If that's not your thing, or if your tow strap is going to be permanent, you'd likely want to just remove the bumper and then drill out the plate. But if you're lazy like me or just don't care, you can drill out the plate with the bumper on. So I actually have a very large drill bit here. So I'm gonna go grab it, mount it on the drill, and show you guys kind of the goal here. This is the drill bit. It's a 38mm drill bit that I got off Amazon. It's freaking huge. I've never seen a bit this big. But the goal is to come in here and drill out that plate. So I'm gonna load it into my drill here. And probably gonna try to put some type of oil on here. I've got some Tap Magic just to help cool the bit down, and then have at it. Okay, so the strap is in. I'm going to clean up that plate because it's a little bit rough around the edges, and I don't want the strap getting caught on the rough edges. I don't want to tear into the braiding of the strap and affect the integrity of the strap. So I'm going to take it back out here. I'll show you how to do that, and then probably get in there with the Dremel and some filing tools and clean it up a little bit. So if you can see in there, the plate's been drilled out, and I did file it down, and it's a little smooth. I like to make it smoother because I don't want this nylon strap to be catching all the time when I take it in and out to affect the integrity of the strap. So I'm going to keep filing it and then take a Dremel to it and sand it down so it's nice. Then I'm going to take out all the metal filing in there and then paint over this to keep it from rusting. So the camera might not catch this, but there was a hole on the top of the plate up here, and so there's a kind of a rough edge where we've drilled a hole and it's overlapped with a smaller hole, so where those two holes meet. So I'm really focusing with the Dremel to kind of even out those edges so that we don't have a sharp edge there. It's not that sharp, but I just want to smooth it out so it's more at an like an angle and less of an edge. Okay, so the edges are all clean. Now I want to get in there and take any metal shavings that I have left from the grinding and the drilling. So I've got a magnet here, and I'm just running it around on the inside of the hole, and it's pulling off all these metal shavings. So I'm going to do this for a little bit, maybe get a cloth in there, maybe get some tape in there, just make sure I clean it out real good. Then I'm going to paint around the rough metal here. So I've got 3 or 4 passes with the magnet in there. I've got quite a bit of material out, and now what I'm doing is just making like a little tape finger, right? Just wrapping tape around my finger and sticking it in there, and just trying to pick up any leftover little bits of metal material here. And there's a good amount in there. So I'll spend a few minutes doing this, trying to get as much of it out as I can. Might even blow some can air in here. I'm not sure if the inside of that bar opens up anywhere. So to be safe, I'm just going to take as much time as I need to clean it out, and then move on to painting it. All right, so here I have some Dr. Color Chip paint that I've actually had for a long time, but never used on anything. And I'm just applying it over the metal here, the raw metal, by hand. taking the time to ensure that I'm covering both the inside and the outside of the raw metal. Okay, so the paint's been allowed to sit and dry, and I'm not going to wipe the excess off. There's really no reason to. So the trick, because it's so deep with putting the strap back in, is kind of have to get it in there, get it to sit. Once you know it's engaged, you give it a little tug, yeah, it's in there. You're going to twist the strap. And when you twist the strap, the bolt will slowly go in. And that is it. Now, sometime in the future, I might come back and clean up the bumper. I'm not really too concerned about it, just because this bumper's all messed up already. And you can replace it later before you sell the car, if I ever actually do sell it. So this particular mod, there's probably a better way to go about it. You could make an extension for the bolt. And I did make some measurements and whatnot, but there's also the case of having to worry about locking the bolt into the extension, and I guess you could use some red Loctite. But this was a cheap and easy way to get this done, and it's not for the faint of heart, but for anyone interested, that is how I did it. Till next time, thanks for watching.